All right, so what I'm going to do today is put a handle. This is the driver's side handle on my third gen Tacoma. So you can see there's nothing there, right? And then on the other side, obviously all of them have the handle. And I did order one from the only company that sells them. I don't want to say what their name is. But I ordered them in January and still haven't gotten it. And we're in June now. So I asked for a refund because this is ridiculous. All I do is make excuses. The boat is late, the customs, the this, the that. They're terrible. So I'm gonna adapt this one. I ordered this from Toyota. This is the same as the one that's on there. It's for the same thing, if you can see that. All right, it's the same one as that one. So I ordered it from Toyota. It's the passenger side handle, but if I adapt it, I can use that hole there. And then I'm going to have to, they're not the same size. The spots are not the same position. All right, so there's a nut where you screw that one on, but not on the other one. So I got to adapt something there. And I got to create the holes. So I'm going to take this guy off and then start measuring and cutting the holes. I'll probably use the I'll take this one off and use that as a guide to make the cutouts. So this is flush with the pillar plastic. So let me get into that. I'm going to take the thing off. Yeah, this little thing just pops out with I got a tool that I use. Okay, it's plastic piece that I got with something else that I ordered, but you can get them at Harbor Freight. You can get a whole bunch of them, different sizes at Harbor Freight. But I use this one because it's really thin. So I just pop that out, and this is a 10mm screw. Okay, so that just comes out real easy. There it goes. All right, and then this just comes right out. All right, now, if you're afraid of the airbag, disconnect the negative from your battery so this doesn't go off. I suggest you do that. I'm going to do this in a little while once I start drilling holes, because I got to drill a hole here. So as you can see, this part, this one, is threaded. That's where that one screw goes. But this one doesn't have anything on it. Okay, so I'm going to have to put a nut there somehow. But these holes don't line up. So I got to drill a hole here at the bottom, and hopefully I'll have enough room to put a nut there or thread it. I don't think there's enough. It's not thick enough to thread. I'm going to try that first, but I don't think it is. So I got to measure now, so I need a longer screw to put here. But the first thing I got to do is cut these little tabs out. Okay, I'm going to cut this off, these little tabs. They're for the other cover. All right, so they clip on, and that way you don't have to hold on to it while you're screwing it back on. So I'm going to cut those off so it's a little shorter, and then I'll start measuring to see where this winds up. I wish they did fit in the same spot, but they don't. So let me do that. I'm going to cut those pieces off and then start measuring. All right, so I cut the little tabs off the this guy, so I can, you know, put it on the screw part and see if it'll fit. But when I screw it onto this here, the other hole winds up beyond this point. There's no place to put a nut there. So what I'm going to have to do is glue a nut over here behind this, and then I have enough here to make over here to make a hole and put hopefully put another nut or thread. I'm not sure, but I'll have to experiment here. The first thing to do is find the nut and glue it onto the back of this, and then go from there, because there's more. This bracket is a little bit wider than the lower one, and unfortunately the holes don't line up. It kind of sucks, but that's the way Toyota made it. So I'm going to do that. I saw a guy on YouTube who did it, and he did a hole over here. Okay, so let me try that, and then I'll see if that works. All right, so here's what I did. I had a piece of aluminum, and because I couldn't find the nut, it looks like it's an M8, because I tapped it with the M6 and it didn't work. But this is what I use. I use these things I got at Harbor Freight. They're called Drill Master. Let me just turn it over. Drill Master, and it's got the drill, right? It's the drill bit at the end, and then as you go further, it'll tap it. So they work really good. You know, got to use them with soft material. Can't use them with hard steel. Actually, they do work with hard steel, but they'll dull out after a while. But yeah, so I did that. So I got, you know, a tapped sort of nut, and it fits in here pretty good. I'm gonna slide it in there. Let's see if you can see that. See, and then I'm gonna silicone it, just so it holds in place. Because I found the nut, but it was just too small. So this works pretty good. So you know, some aluminum stock. It's you know, 1 inch wide. It's about 1/8 thick. You know, it's pretty strong. It shouldn't fall off. I mean, once it's tight, it should be fine. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to silicone it now, and then I'll wait till tomorrow when it dries, and then I'll attach it over here, and then I'll try to do, maybe I'll just tap this on this side. I'm not sure. I think it might work, because this is pretty thick. This seems pretty thick. It's about as thick as the aluminum, and this is metal. So I'm going to try that tomorrow, and then you know, see where that goes. So there we go. I put a little bit of silicone, and it's in place. So now I got a threaded nut, if you will, there. So, and I'll measure up. Once that's dry, I'll measure up, and I think it's going to wind up over here someplace. I might just be able to tap this, and that might work. And if I have to, I'll put another piece of aluminum back in the back to make it even stronger. So let's see what happens once this dries, and then I'll continue it. All right, so the silicone dried out overnight, and now I have the piece of aluminum that I threaded in here, and it's nice and solid. I just tried it with the screw. I'll show you. And now it threads in nice and easy. Yeah, see? And it's in, you know, doesn't have to be super glued. You can super glue it if you want, but I found that silicone was fine. So that works. Now what I'm going to do is I got to find the spot where I got to make the hole on this one. So I'm going to put the handle on it, held on by this screw, and then I'll mark the spot. So let me do that, and so I can mark that. All right, so as you can see, it's attached now by the bottom screw, which is this one here. Can't get a picture of it. There, see? So that's the nut that I made. All right, the threaded nut, or the threaded aluminum piece. Now I have to mark the spot over here on this one, and then I know where I have to make my hole, because as you can see, the threaded piece is a little bit lower. So let me mark that up and then try and drill it there and thread it. And I might get away with doing that. I don't know if I can fit a nut in there, but maybe. So let me mark that up and make a hole. Well, the silicone is only temporary. It got loose as soon as I started playing around with it. When I started to I marked the spot for this, and as soon as I took the screw off, the nut is loose. So what I did was I put some of this stuff, the super glue, Gorilla super glue. Man, this stuff glues anything. Rubber to metal, metal to metal. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I used that, and I just applied it around the edges, and I'll let it dry, and it should hold. Again, once you got it on and you're not taking it on and off, it'll be fine. So now I got to drill this hole. Let me drill that hole out. See, I marked it while it was on. So let me drill that hole and see if I can thread that and then put a nut under there. All right, so I made another nut, if you will, with the aluminum stock. Okay, it's like 3/4 by 1/8 by 3/4. So I made it very thin so that it fit in that spot, and I threaded it. And because I threaded the bracket here, but it's just too thin to hold any threads. So I made the hole a little bit bigger so the screw doesn't start getting jammed up in there or having two threads. And I just glued this guy, put it on with some silicone, and I put some glue on it, super glue, and I'm letting it dry now, and then I can start cutting the holes in the plastic piece. Once I get that all dried up and I can mount it, then I can figure out how to cut the holes. So that's mounted there. I'm letting it dry, and then I'll go from here. All right, so now I have to drill a hole where the plastic is, or rather on the plastic, which is this one. And this is really just for this clip. That's where this clip used to go onto. Okay, so the other one was threaded, the top one was threaded, and this clip was in that unthreaded hole. All right, so to thread the hole, all you got to do is take this off and drill a hole, and then that's the position of the bottom threaded piece that we made, or I made. Okay, so so that's the spot for it. Now I'm going to position the bracket on there and trace it so I can position my bracket on here. And let's see. So there's the hole. There's the new hole right there. And that's the position of the bracket. Now I just got to trace the inside and make the cutout for the for just a recess in it, for the handle to recess in it. As you can see, this one is further up. So, all right, so let me go to the bench and trace that and start cutting that out. All right, so to make my template for the shape of this cutout, which is the white only. That's the hole you got to make, is the size of the white area only. So I just made a hole in a piece of paper, and I put it on there, and I just pressed on the edges, and you can see I got a little bit of an indent on the paper. Now I'm going to cut that out, and that way I have my template, and I can put it on here and be able to cut it. All right, so now that I got the position of that guy, I put the bracket on here, and I made a mark on where the new hole is going to wind up, or where the new hole is, okay, which is there. Now I'm going to place this guy, my template, on there and trace it like I did on this guy. It's the same thing, just reverse. I flopped it. So I'm going to trace it, and that's where the bracket goes. Now, these holes don't have to be exactly perfectly, you know, sized. You got to make them as tight as you can, I suppose, so the handle doesn't move around a lot. But yeah, it can't be that tight. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to, you know, get it exactly in the threads, the screws and the threads. So I'm going to get as close as possible, try it, and if it falls in the right place, if not, you got to shave off a little bit of the hole so that, you know, it falls in place. But that's how I'm just going to trace this guy. That was done, and I'm going to cut that out and then cut that one out. All right, so I got them both traced out. That's where they go. This is not the hole. That's the old place. This is the new hole. Remember, don't make it, put the template on this one because it's the wrong place now. That's the position of the new hole for the screws. So that's where I'm going to do my cutouts. I have to get the Dremel and start cutting this. Okay, so that's what it looks like after you do it. Now, the holes don't have to be perfect, but, you know, try to do it as tight as possible. And then this guy goes in there and sits in there. Not bad. So that's how it is. That's how you do it. And it fits in there. I use these cutting wheels, but I found out it's better to do with this this bit. It's a special bit that cuts. Okay. You just got to insert it, and then it keeps cutting. So it's a lot easier with this. All right. And then I smoothed out the edges. I had to make it a little bit larger. Just kept enlarging it, and this wheel helps. So you can grind it down. So yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna try and put it on and see what it looks like. Okay, that's what it looks like with the pillar cover back on. I hope my holes align up. We'll see what happens, but yeah, it looks like that's going to be it. Let's put the handle on and see what happens. And there it is installed. Yeah, it came out really nice. It's nice and flush. I thought it was going to pop out a little bit, but and it's solid. Yeah, it's really solid. I got no problems holding on to it. Not afraid to. I'm waiting for that glue to dry on the nuts that I put there, but I know leave it for a couple of days. But yep, I mean, this was only $60. This handle. Okay, the one that you order that comes with this the cover and the nut for the bottom. It's probably a little narrower because the holes, it's got to match up the holes. They probably keep the same holes. They didn't do another hole like I did. So but that one's pretty much $190. And there's only one company selling them. So, but I ordered mine in January of this year, and I still have not gotten it. They got my money, and I don't know what's going on. I tried to cancel the order, but you can't communicate with these people. They're terrible. So I came up with this. I didn't come up with this. Some other guy did it. I just did a little more detailed video. Yeah, that was a good idea. Thanks to that guy on YouTube, the other guy who did it. So it's really the handle, same handle that you get on the passenger side. Just buy it for $60 at Toyota or, yeah, Toyota. The only ones that sell it. Again, these are scarce also. They're getting scarce. For some reason, there was only 6 when I went to buy it all over the country because they checked. They got a database. So, but $60 as opposed to $190, and you don't have to wait. I got the handle in 2 days. I bought this, and 2 days later I had it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you can do it. Any comments, give me a comment. If you want to subscribe. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.